With the data video. So before we just got the data for Spain here, so why not double click on this tab at the bottom and type in Spain here. Okay, so you can do that and add as many tabs as you want, and then analyse different countries and just have a separate tab for each country you might like to analyse. And you can still keep your kind of original spreadsheet here. You can get rid of this, you can select all, you can clear and choose different countries. Okay, so I'll just select all back here. I'll go to Spain and then we're going to play with this. Okay, so the next set of skills is about trying to draw a few graphs of the data. Just checking my document here. So looking at create simple column charts, label graphs, formulas to find cumulative totals, copy and paste special rather than paste, create X, Y scatter graphs. Okay, so we'll try and cover all of that in this video here. So at the moment we've got date, rep and number of cases. So why don't we just go ahead and grab this and let's just graph down to maybe here if we want. We can graph the whole thing, but let's just do a few cases. We'll insert a chart, and it's quite clever. It chooses a chart. Let's see what's chosen for us. It's kind of got this line chart. Does that look okay? The first column is defaulted to the x-axis, date reported, and my first date is the 6th of the 4th, but notice it's put, yeah, okay, so it's doing it in the right order from the earliest to the latest, and these represent all of the actual number of cases, so that's what it looks like. But we can choose something a bit different, and a lot of the news report is looking a bit like that. But notice if I do change the actual graph, can you see it seems to have changed the dates around, so it's drawn the columns with the first date as the first one here, and the other one with the oldest to newest. So that's a little bit weird, but we can just double click on this graph again. We open up the chart editor here, so let's just choose a different chart type. Let's set up column chart here. Let's go down here and have a look at more columns, but it still hasn't changed the dates around. Okay, so we're going to have to be a little bit careful because really we want the x-axis definitely is the date reported, but notice that it's actually done the latest date here, and we want this actually switched around the other way. Okay, so that's why sometimes on Google spreadsheets for sure, I actually tend to have my dates from the earliest at the top to the latest at the bottom. So we're going to try and change that and see what happens. If you highlight date, rep, cases and deaths, and then put in that filter again, the filter is here, create a filter, and then I'm going to just switch this around A to Z. Okay, and that's quite interesting because now the graph doesn't seem to have done anything, but of course what it's plotted is it's plotted these first few, and there are no deaths here. So it's got a bar chart going here, like some kind of column chart, and it looks like it's got the dates in the right order. So let's just go down here and highlight lots more so we start getting some numbers. I'll highlight the whole thing, why not? Okay, insert chart. Okay, and I suppose that's kind of what we were expecting to see. You know, this is the date along here. It's quite small, but you can make it big, obviously. This is the number of cases reported. So this is the number of daily cases here, actually. Maybe we don't need all of this space here. Maybe we just start plotting a graph at the, a suitable date, but then we've got to decide on, well, what's kind of a suitable date. And don't forget this for the number of daily cases of reported. Okay, so that's how to do a chart looking like that. If we go back to the first default chart, it suggested this one. If you go to a line, does that feel any better? Does that look any better to you? Or do you feel that this is a better representation? If you hover over these bars here, you can see that the number of daily cases kind of rises and keeps rising here, then it dips, then it's another rise, then it's starting to fall here, the number of daily reported cases. That's definitely good news for Spain. Okay, let me just click on here again and delete it. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to look at, I'll click on here and just press delete. I'm going to start to analyse, I'm going to grab this, I'm going to command exit. I'm going to move it just out of the way over here because I think I might want some more space for my data here. And if I'm looking at all these dates here, I'm just wondering whether I need all of these dates up here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go and delete all of these up to here, and then I'm going to click and then shift click here. I'm going to command X to cut them, and I'm going to command V here to paste them. Okay, so you know I've actually got rid of quite a few dates, all of January there, is that right? Yeah, 10th of the 2nd, 1st of the 2nd, 2nd of the 2nd, yeah, all of January got rid of there. So that I think that's going to look a little bit better. So if I do date reported against cases now, insert chart, okay, and I'm going to go into the chart type, and I'm going to go back to the, yeah, I feel that's a little bit better. I mean, still there's not a lot going on down here for these days, especially because the scale, look at the scale goes up to 7,500, whereas the numbers down here and these other days are just single ones and zeros. So we might think about whether we want to include all of this here or whether we want to start at some other suitable point. So that's something we can think of maybe in the next tutorial. But let me put that there. Now I want to kind of edit this because this is cases versus date reported. You just double click on that. This is the number of daily COVID-19 cases reported in Spain from. Okay, so you can be quite specific with the title here. And our particular first date is from the 1st of February. Oh, I didn't press enter. So the number of COVID-19 cases reported in Spain from 1st of Feb 2020 to 6th of April 2020. Okay, press enter. And yeah, that's a suitable graph, isn't it? You could copy paste that anywhere in any report, and that would be a suitable graph to have. Okay. Now, what I'd also like to do is I'd like to have the number of deaths, which is going to be quite morbid, and there's a number of ways you can do this, but I'm just going to create. I'm going to copy the deaths, Command C. I am going to go click on G, I'm going to do Command V. I'm going to Command C, and I'm going to Command V. Okay. Now notice that I'm not taking the filters with them. The filters can stay over here to organise all of this. No filters here, and I'm going to do the same sort of thing and highlight all the data here. I'm going to insert chart. Okay, and it's defaulted to the similar one before. Okay, so again, this here is number of daily reported deaths. Really quite sad, of course, in Spain. So just give it the full title here. Okay, so if we put those two graphs side by side now, you can just obviously copy and paste out of here into a Google Doc when you're ready to actually put them into some kind of report or a presentation or an analysis. And maybe just having the graphs or the charts on their own is more powerful than having, you know, this whole spreadsheet of data, you know, table of values. But that's certainly quite powerful, as you can see. Okay, let's just check on what else we've got to do here. Create super column charts, yes. Label graphs, yeah. Okay, so this is interesting, isn't it? Because those are the daily deaths, but what about entering formulas to find the cumulative totals? So at the moment, if you have a look in here, this is the number of daily reported cases, but what about the total number of cases? So you can see in this spreadsheet here that these are the individuals. So definitely if we just added up all of those numbers, we'd certainly get the total number of cases here. But we want to do a cumulative total. Okay, so cumulative total calls for a bit more thinking. All right, so let's go for it. If I click on C, I'm going to insert column left. This is, relabel this, number of daily cases. And here I'm going to put the total cases. We could do a few typos and just go over and rehash it. Now, the number of total cases isn't going to change much, is it, really? But here's how we do it. We're going to put the number of total cases in this column here equals. We press an equals for a little formula. So the number of total cases equals basically the number of cases on the 1st of February, and press enter. Okay. So now in the column below, if I just make this and zoom in a little bit, there's a percentage here. Let's zoom a bit there. There we go. So now if I look in the column below here, so the total cases is going to be equal to the total number of cases so far plus the number of cases in the next day. So you can see what I've done there. Equals the cell above, the cumulative number of cases so far, plus the cell to the left, and enter. Now if I just drag by pointing to the bottom right corner and drag this down, see what's happened here? So in this here, if I click in the formula bar, in there is a formula equals the cell above, the total number of cases so far, which is obviously only 1, plus the number in the cell to the left, 1 plus 1 is 2. Okay. Now if I just keep dragging that down, either by dragging down or double clicking, it will populate all the numbers down here. Now let's just check some of these out. Click in the formula bar here. So in here on the 6th of March, the total number of cases of COVID-19 are the total number so far from the day before 200 plus the extra 61, so that should be 261. And so that's how we get our cumulative total. And you can see it's horrifying, 130 cases, 130 cases, okay? So now this is where we might start to think about, well, what do we actually want to try and graph? Do we want to try and graph the date against the total cases all the way from back here? Or do you want to maybe only start plotting from when the total cases gets beyond a certain number, maybe beyond 50, maybe beyond 100? And you can decide on how you might like to do that. But let's get a little graph for the total number of cases. Okay, we'll go for the date reported against the total cases. And again, what we can do now, instead of having this column and this column side by side, we can actually just do click, drag down. So I'll drag down all the way onto there, okay? And now if you do command and then click and drag down, you can see you're actually just highlighting the 2 columns that you want. You get a bit fiddly, you might lose it. And now if you insert a chart, it should just pick up those 2 particular ones. I'm going to zoom back out because it's going a bit crazy. And you can see here, this is the actual, yeah, look at this. This is cases versus date reported. And you can see that this is that smooth kind of exponential curve, but then maybe it's not going up as fast as we maybe thought. So on here, this is the total COVID-19 cases in Spain from, and again it's from that first date we had, which was from 1st of Feb 2022, 6th of April 2020. Okay, so that is a really suitable chart. You can do the same thing for the number of deaths, which again will be very, very sad. Now for this one, I'm going to just see what a different graph might look like, because for here, what if I, instead of go to the setup, so I click here, I've got a combo chart. What if I go to now an XY scatter graph? Okay, so this is kind of looking more like the sort of graphs that we plot in your regular maths curriculum. Okay, so now for this one, we've got a choice, haven't we? I think for these ones, the number of daily cases was good with the columns. The number of daily cases good with the column. This is now the total number, the cumulative total, and that seems to be good with a scatter plot here. Or if you like, you can just go back to the column bars. Just make sure that we've covered everything there. Create XY scatter graphs. I thought it was interesting. Use copy and then paste special. All right. So let me show you a little bit something about that. You see how I took this first column, date reported, and graphed against total cases. Now I didn't have to have these two columns side by side to draw the graph, but what if I wanted to? So what if I take the date reported here, I do Command C, let's just paste it down over here now. There we go. And then I want to take the total cases, so I'm going to highlight this. So I kind of want to get the two columns side by side in the table, Command C. Now watch what happens when I do Command V. Maybe you already know Command V. Those are very, very strange numbers. And the problem is in here, I've actually copy and pasted a formula. I've not actually copied and pasted these numbers. I've pasted the formulas, okay? So to guard against that, if you want to copy and paste just those numbers and not the formula itself, copy as normal. But now on here you go Edit, Paste Special, and you do Paste Values. Okay, now can you see that that's exactly what we want? So if you wanted to then, tidy this up and put it into a report somewhere, you could put a border around it, you could center, you could center again, you could make this bold at the top, maybe change the size, and then you could just copy paste this into any report you're making. This would be a table of values, and this would be highly relevant if you were then going to put this next to the actual the graph that you were drawing as well. Okay, so I think we've covered everything for this next tutorial. See you in the next one.